There are moments in history when the quietest man in the formation becomes the axis on which an entire command turns, moments when arrogance, long unchallenged, finally crashes against an immovable wall, one built not of rank or status, but of unshakable principle. This story begins on a wind-scarred training field at the edge of a conflict zone, where a battalion gathered for what was supposed to be a routine battlefield inspection. Lines stood rigid, boots dug into dust, eyes forward, yet beneath the stillness, every soldier felt the presence of Captain Roerland, a man feared more for his temper than respected for his leadership. Roerland's name carried weight, not for victories, but for the trail of humiliation he left in his wake. He believed authority was a weapon, he believed fear was discipline, and on that day, he sought once again to remind the men who controlled their fates. But among the newest recruits stood someone he had overlooked. Rieke Hale, 19, quiet, precise, not a man who boasted, nor one who cowered. He was the type of soldier who listened more than he spoke, who watched more than he reacted. To the others, he seemed ordinary, almost forgettable. But inside him lived a devotion to principle sharper than any blade. The inspection progressed until Roerland stopped in front of Hale, and with the entire line watching, he issued a command, one so blatantly corrupt and dishonorable that even the air seemed to recoil from it. "Break formation," the captain said. "Step forward and kneel," a command meant not for discipline, but for degradation. Hale did not move. A ripple passed through the ranks. The stage was set. For a heartbeat, the field held its breath. Captain Roerland stepped closer, lips curling with the certainty of a man who had never been defied. "I said kneel, recruit." His voice cracked like a whip. Hale's reply was not spoken. It was an action, instant, precise, and irreversible. He shifted one boot back, grounding himself, and lifted his chin just enough to meet the captain's eyes. The smallest refusal, the clearest rebellion. Roerland reached out, intending to shove him to the ground, but Hale moved first. With a controlled snap of motion, he caught the captain's wrist mid-strike. He is steady, unshaking, neither aggressive nor submissive. The contact stopped the captain cold. A silence detonated across the formation. Every soldier saw it. The captain's arm frozen, the recruit's posture calm. A single moment in which authority shattered like glass. Roerland staggered back, stripped bare before his own men. The line did not move. They only watched. No one spoke. Dust drifted around them like falling ash as the captain stumbled, staring at the recruit as though he were seeing him for the first time. His face, usually red with bluster, had drained pale. He opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again, but no words arrived. The authority he wielded so recklessly had evaporated in the space between two heartbeats. Hale stood perfectly still, not triumphant, not fearful, simply present. The battalion commander, Major Riddle, had witnessed everything from several paces back. He stepped forward now with the slow, deliberate stride of a man measuring the weight of what had unfolded. "Explain," Riddle said quietly. Hale turned to him. "Sir, the command given compromised military conduct and personal dignity. Obedience, without honor, corrodes the line." Riddle studied him, then he turned to Captain Roerland. "Is this true?" Roerland swallowed hard, unable to muster his usual glare. "Yeah, it was a test," he muttered. "A test of what?" Riddle asked. "Your power, or his integrity?" The line remained frozen. Men who had endured Roerland's abuses for months now stood witness to something they never imagined. Accountability, delivered not by rank, but by courage. Riddle faced Hale again. "Recruit Hale, your restraint prevented escalation. Your clarity preserved protocol." Then, after a tense pause, he added, "Stand easy." Relief rippled subtly through the ranks as though none dared express it openly. Roerland attempted one final protest, but Riddle silenced him with a raised hand. "Captain, your conduct will be reviewed. Until then, you are relieved of inspection duties." A verdict delivered in front of the entire line. As Roerland walked away, a stiff, wounded, humiliated the soldier's eyes followed him, not with malice, but with the realization that true strength had revealed itself in the quietest of men. The moral settled over them like a flag unfurled. Power only commands when it is earned, but integrity commands even those who outrank it. And for the first time in many months, the line felt steadier because someone had reminded them what honor looked like. In the years that followed, The moment became more than an incident. It became a story whispered around barracks, retold during harsh winter nights, passed down to new recruits who faced their own struggles under oppressive leadership. They called it the Stand of the 19th, a reference to Hale's recruit number. Veterans who had stood in that line spoke of it with a quiet reverence, not because Hale had challenged authority, but because he had done so without ego, without fury, without violence. He had shown that the sharpest strike is sometimes the one that never lands, that dignity can be a shield stronger than steel, that a single second of courage can shift the course of an entire command. Captain Royland was eventually reassigned to administrative duty, his reputation forever scarred. Hale, meanwhile, rose steadily, and not because of the legend, but because of the character behind it. Long after the battlefield dust had settled, a young soldier once asked him how he had found the nerve to stand his ground that day. Hale answered with a sentence that would be repeated for generations: "Obedience builds armies, but conscience builds soldiers." A truth forged in silence, carried in memory, and told wherever men gathered to remember moments when virtue prevailed.